The Vow of the Shadow Bride. In a small village nestled between two rivers in western Africa, lived a vibrant and industrious woman named Adora, known for her laughter and her fiery resilience. She was married to Akena, a man of quiet charm who had won her heart with his sweet words and promises of eternal love. Their life seemed idyllic, but behind the facade, Akena harbored a dark secret. Adora's closest friend, Shinyari, was a beauty whose allure captured the admiration of many. While Adora trusted her with everything, including her marriage troubles, Shinyari harbored jealousy. Over time, her admiration for Akena grew into obsession. Akena, weak to temptation and consumed by greed, began an illicit affair with Shinyari, a betrayal that would spark a chain of devastating events. One stormy evening, Akena lured Adora to the forest under the guise of seeking rare herbs for her ailing mother. Trusting her husband implicitly, she followed him deep into the woods, unaware of the dagger hidden beneath his robes. "Akena," Adora whispered as thunder rumbled, "are we not going too far?" "Trust me, my love," he replied, a fake tenderness in his voice. The moment came quickly. In the heart of the forest, with no witnesses except the silent trees, Akena plunged the dagger into Adora's chest. Her scream was swallowed by the roaring thunder, and she fell lifeless onto the damp earth. He buried her hurriedly beneath a baobab tree, its gnarled roots entwining her as if nature itself mourned her passing. A silent watcher. What Akena didn't know was that the spirit of the forest had been watching. Adora's soul, restless and betrayed, rose from the grave, her spirit tethered to the baobab tree. Her eyes glowed like embers, her presence a cold shiver on the wind. Days turned into weeks. The village mourned Adora's sudden disappearance, but Akena claimed she had run away. Soon after, he announced his engagement to Shinyari, an act that enraged Adora's spirit. On the night of the engagement ceremony, the winds howled unnaturally, and the lanterns flickered as though afraid. Adora's spirit began her vengeance. She whispered into the ears of the elders, sowing seeds of doubt. She appeared in the dreams of Shinyari, her face pale and hollow, her voice echoing, "Do not marry him, for he is a murderer." Shinyari awoke screaming, but Akena dismissed her fears, blaming superstition. The wedding was set for the following full moon. The haunting. As preparations for the wedding intensified, so did Adora's presence. Villagers spoke of a shadowy figure seen walking near the baobab tree at night, her cries blending with the rustling leaves. Chickens died mysteriously, their blood smearing Akena's doorstep. Pots of palm wine soured overnight, and the village priest, an old man with white chalk smeared on his forehead, declared that an angry spirit lingered among them. On the eve of the wedding, Adora appeared to her best friend in full spectral form, her once warm eyes now cold and accusing. "Shinyari," she whispered, her voice like the rustle of dry leaves, "do not marry him. He killed me for you." Shinyari fell to her knees, trembling. "Adora, forgive me, I did not know he would harm you." "You knew his greed and still fed it," Adora replied, her tone stern. "But you can make amends." The wedding day. The morning of the wedding was heavy with foreboding. As Akena stood at the altar, resplendent in his agbada, a sense of unease crept over the attendees. Shinyari walked down the aisle, her steps hesitant. The priest began the ceremony, but as he spoke, the ground beneath them trembled. Suddenly, the baobab tree near the village square split open with a deafening crack. Adora's ghost emerged, her form radiant yet terrifying. The villagers screamed and scattered, leaving Akena and Shinyari paralyzed with fear. "Do you think you can escape justice, Akena?" Adora's voice boomed, reverberating through the square. "You took my life for your selfish desires, but no evil goes unpunished." Akena fell to his knees, weeping and begging for mercy. "Adora, forgive me, I was blinded by greed." But Adora was relentless. "You will pay for your sins," she declared. The earth opened beneath Akena, swallowing him whole. The villagers whispered that he was dragged into the spirit world to face eternal torment. Shinyari, sobbing uncontrollably, turned to Adora's ghost. I will spend the rest of my life atoning for my betrayal, she vowed. Adora's gaze softened. Let my story remind the living that betrayal comes with a price. With that, her spirit dissolved into the wind, leaving the baobab tree whole once more. Legacy of the Shadow Bride. From that day, the villagers spoke of Adora's vengeance with a mix of fear and reverence. The baobab tree became a shrine, where offerings were made to honor her spirit and seek protection from deceit. Shinyari lived a life of penance, dedicating herself to helping widows and orphans in the village. And so, the tale of the Shadow Bride became a legend, a cautionary story passed down through generations, a reminder that love, when tainted by greed and betrayal, could awaken forces more powerful than the living could comprehend.